time in the next 10 minutes just discussing some of those traits. What makes you different than the next Elon Musk or Steve Jobs or Jeff Bezos? Technology, as defined by Peter Thiel in his book 0 to 1, has to do with the vertical motion of innovation. So going from 0 to 1, not to globalize and to just copy models around the world that you've seen work, which is something we need here in the region, and we're seeing, maybe 70% of the startups here do that, and that's totally fine. We need those services. Those business models have been proven, and at the same time, investors here in the region will invest in you to do those businesses. But what I'm talking about today is something we have to start thinking about for the next phase, which is how are we going to become a center of innovation? And technology affords any of us to do that. But, being an entrepreneur isn't just about deciding you want to have this dream and then telling your parents, I'm going to go be an entrepreneur. That never worked for me, even in Silicon Valley. And I don't think it's going to work for most of you. What you need to have is severe intentionality about what you're doing. You have to have it come from the core of what you're doing. Number one, doing the right thing. And two, making sure that you have the right attitude towards it, the right vision. You're being consistent, you're measuring your consistency objectively, and you're determined to continue to work at it. We don't really have that culture of, go ahead and do that and without trying to be a perfectionist because of the fear of failure here. Or how are other people around me going to look at me? And there are certain gaps in our understanding of our abilities, what we're good at, what people around us are going to think, and that vision and that dream that we have. And so I'll give you a few tips, I hope, that you can take away from this and enjoy in the rest of the Rise Up Summit about how you can look inward at the core things that make successful entrepreneurs successful versus just that dreamy, trendy entrepreneurship sort of bandwagon that we see happen a lot all over the world. And it comes down to this law of diminishing intent. You can have all the intent in the world, but if you're not following that up with action, you won't be a successful entrepreneur. And whatever you think your plans are going to be, they always change. So there are certain gaps between where you think you should be and where you wake up in the morning that day. Those are frustrating gaps. But the way to address those gaps is to have the type of character that it takes to build successful, long-lasting companies. Not to just flip a company on a dime just to make some money. And you hear these things all the time. What are the right reasons to become an entrepreneur? In a study done by Angel AI, which is an Egyptian founder who moved to Silicon Valley, so already taking intellectual capital from the Middle East and exporting it to the rest of the world, Angel has identified 6 types of personality traits that make the most successful founders in the world, based on 30 to 50,000 startups over the last 30 years. This includes Google, it includes Uber, it includes Airbnb, and these are the traits that came out of that. They're not the types of traits you might think of in everyday conversation about what do I need to do to become a strong entrepreneur. But these are the traits. In summary, it's not about I fell into luck, or my government is assisting me, or I happen to be, in a place where there's great internet. It's really not about any of those things in particular. Those things might sound like hindrances for you to achieve your goal, but really with proper preparation and attitude, you find the opportunity around you, and you take action on it. That is luck. So in a sense, a lot of it has to do with where you put yourself each day of your life.